Silver and gold prices dropped off a cliff last week. Of course they did, because I locked in a giant purchase of silver on Friday just before everything dropped. Of course, it's natural to have quite heavy emotions about something like that. But buying the dip, that is now an opportunity that is real, that is here. And I want to talk today about whether or not we should be buying as much silver as possible right now. Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here, and a very warm welcome to you all joining me for this week's Precious Metal Ramble, where of course we're going to be focusing on the big price drops in silver and gold that have happened over the last week. Now, it's all fairly common knowledge why that happened with the jobs data coming out last Friday and the strengthening of the US dollar. A lot of big organizations and big power money brokers have taken their money out of precious metals, that safe haven asset, and have put it into other things, which will be growing quite a lot over the coming weeks, months, and years with the opening up of the world and economies and recovery post-COVID. Does that represent an opportunity, though, for physical metal buying, for physical silver and gold to get in? That's what I want to focus on today. Buying the dip. Is now the dip, or are we going to expect further drops? Can we predict the future? Of course we can't, and what I am sharing here today is just my own opinion on the subject. It's not financial advice in any way, shape or form, and I'd love to know your opinions as we go throughout the video, so please feel free to comment as we go. Now, over the last couple of weeks, I've been pretty skeptical about silver as an investment. There's been a lot against it for us here in the United Kingdom, for taxes, for just general premiums that are on top of this stuff. But the prices that have happened over the last couple of weeks do make me look at it again and go, do you know what, that is a pretty low price that we've said. It's not as low as it's ever been, but it's certainly as low as it's been for quite the while. And I have noticed that a few dealers have started reducing their premiums. There's certainly a lot less, there's a little bit more competition, a little less kind of money grabbing from a lot of the dealers out there. There's a lot more popularity of silver, of course, as well, from the emergence of silver squeeze movements and Wall Street bets and all of that. So there's a whole host of new silver buyers out there that are looking at these prices for the first time. They're the lowest prices that they'll have ever seen, thinking now is the time to buy. And it is the same as it has always been with silver and gold, that when we see these big drops in prices, the sentiment is buy. It's on discount. There's a whole host of different explanations for why they go down, and the manipulation of what it might be, the reduction in silver prices and all of that. Not really a subscriber to those conspiracy theories, but I do admit that now does seem to be an opportunity to look to buy. What I don't agree with, as I've never agreed with, is just going all in on silver, and I'm not really going to focus on that because I've talked about that so many times before. But what I do want to share is a little bit of my own personal experience from this last week when it comes to buying the dip. So, of course, silver went down quite dramatically because I locked in a big old purchase of silver last Friday morning of all times as well, just before the big movements in prices. So, of course, silver was due a massive drop down, and that happens. The emotions relating to that are, of course, not what you want. They really are quite negative when that happens. But I will say, for anybody that has locked in prices earlier than last Friday and you're sitting there with your very expensive relative to today price of silver, don't worry about it. It's life. It just happens. It's cyclical. There will be an increase in silver price, I have no doubt, at some point. I do think, though, that we are due more downward trends for silver over the coming weeks. There's been so many different calls for silver to go parabolic and go up and up and up, but I've never been a subscriber to that idea. I think silver is at a point right now where it's not going to go down particularly largely. I think that we are, even with the big recoveries, I think the world has changed. There will be this need for reserves, for safe haven assets to form parts of portfolios. And that's the way that I look at it as well. I don't go all in on anything at the moment. By the way, these 100-gram bars are available now over on the Silver Forum. We have got to put the serial numbers on them, but otherwise they are pretty much done, and we're taking the pre-orders now. So if you're interested, there's a link down in the description below. But I've never been a proponent of going all in on anything, and despite the fact that it might seem like a really great time to look to buy silver and gold right now compared with a couple of weeks ago. What I will say is that if you're keeping with your own strategy, with your own budget, then it's a great time to buy because you'll just be getting more for your money than you would have done a couple of days or weeks ago. And that's the main thing for me. So my own personal experience, for me, I'll go back to the sort of poured silver side of things. I bought a bunch of silver last Friday to replenish stock after making these 100-gram bars, and it's really it leaves a bitter taste in your mouth when, of course it does, it's natural human emotion when you buy something and then 2 hours later when I checked the silver prices and saw that it had gone down a whopping like 80 pence per ounce as well. I was like, I just did the maths, I got my calculator out and I said, oh my god, that's how much I could have spent less. It is natural to do that. However, you've got to look at it from the pragmatic side of things, and God bless Mrs. Backyard Bullion, because she's the ground that, or she's the thing that keeps me grounded, I should say. She's that big anchor within everything that I do. And I was talking about replenishing stock and buying more, and she's no fool when it comes to money and investments, and she suggested that I split out the replenishment purchases so that I don't lock everything in one price. And I said, well, what if it goes up again? We've got all of these different things happening, blah, blah, blah. And she's just, no, just buy half now and buy half at another point. So, of course, you see the price points go down, and Mrs. Backyard Bullion is completely vindicated and completely right. So a massive thumbs up and thank you to her. She's like the Warren Buffett of the Backyard Bullion household. She's certainly got more stomach for these things than perhaps I do. So, the natural thing there is the lesson to be learned, really, is that sometimes things go down, sometimes things go up. And I've certainly seen that happen in my time over this last 5 years of investing in silver, not only as an investment, but also as a business asset. It really is, it's just goes up and down. That's what markets do. And I've bought and things have gone massively up, and I've bought and things have gone massively down. And this time things went down. So, that's the nature of it. What I will say from my own personal experience is don't live with those regrets. If you're going to buy, just buy it. And if you've made that decision, that's fantastic as well. If it's part of your monthly budget, then you're in. It's time to buy because you can get more than you would have done last week. If you are new to precious metals and you're sitting there looking to get more into this, if you're trying to front load your investment perhaps for the future, it's certainly a good strategy to do. It's certainly what I did with my silver buying a couple of years ago. We're a long way away from those prices back in 2017-18, where we could quite easily get hold of silver for £14 an ounce. It was very much like, well, this is a long-term investment for me. I want to hold it for a long term. So I've got this budget, which I'm going to set aside from my savings and put into metals. And that's what I did there. Now, the metals that I buy are basically for business and for long-term savings. And I do point at gold for long-term savings over silver. Despite the big drops in silver prices, silver dropped even more in terms of percentage than gold. I still think that gold is a better purchase for me personally over the long period of time because of the premiums involved with silver. It's just not something that's despite the good opportunities that silver represents right now, and I certainly will concede that it is looking more attractive than it did a couple of weeks ago and months ago, I'm still of the mind that if I'm investing in a metal for the future, just in the metal, that gold is the king and always will be. That said, there are inklings in my mind that silver does have this opportunity, this potential to grow even further. So I want to just quickly focus on this at the end of this video, just to say that I do think there is a lot of potential for silver, and buying right now is fine. Even if you buy right now and it goes down another couple of pounds an ounce or another couple of dollars an ounce, theoretically we could see $22 an ounce silver quite soon in the next couple of weeks. If that happens and you've bought now, like myself or like others, that's not a problem, because these things it's fairly common knowledge to know that the money that has been created by governments and world's economies is staggering. The amount of debt that's out there, the amount of financial hardship that governments are going to have to go through over the coming years is going to fuel I think, this devaluation of currency, which is where you want your money to be in precious metals. You don't want your cash to be in a bank as your currency devalues. You most certainly want it in those precious metals. And that's where I think the longest term value is going to be for these. So even if you're buying now and it goes down in price, or even if you bought 3 months ago and you were paying $45 an ounce for your American Silver Eagles, it doesn't matter ultimately. I do feel that way. I do genuinely feel that way, that in the long term, it will come good. The biggest problem is, of course, if you have over leveraged and you need to sell your stuff in that intermediary time. We don't know when, of course, these prices will go up and up and up, but they will happen at some point. It is just natural. It's part of the cycle of silver and gold. We've seen it. We've seen close to $30 an ounce silver recently. I think that there's more room for growth over the recovery period. But the recovery is going to have an impact on silver and gold. We are going to see potentially a little bit more of an exodus out of silver and gold into other stocks and shares. And you'd be sort of ignorant really to think that silver and gold is the only thing that can make money right now. There are plenty of other opportunities out there for stocks and shares or markets, different types of commodities as well, to look to increase in value. So the message, I guess, to finish this video is, if you are buying responsibly. Don't necessarily mortgage your house to go and buy more silver in this price point, but buy the dip. Yeah, definitely. I'm all in favor for that. If you're continuing to buy silver, then it is a good time to buy. If you are able to get it at a decent premium, then that is great. One of the best places that I have always found to get decent price silver is the Silver Forum. So little quick advert at the end of this video. We've got these 100-gram Silver Forum bars available in pre-order right now over on the forum. We're taking those pre-orders as we speak, so please go over and have a look at the forum for more information. But generally speaking, the forum is the best place in the United Kingdom to buy silver. I've seen silver being sold on there this week for £22 an ounce, and that is ridiculously low in terms of premium. I am most certainly a buyer of silver and gold when it comes at those price points. I'm not a buyer of bullion grade silver at £30 an ounce or whatever, £27 an ounce I think is the going rate right now for bullion grade pieces of silver from dealers. Not a buyer at those price points, but definitely at £20, £21, I'll buy silver. I really will. It is a good price to buy at. And the Silver Forum does represent a great marketplace for not only buying, but selling as well. So it's an incredible place and worth checking out. And these bars go a long way to help support them. If you are interested, links are down in the description below. So thank you very much for checking them out. Otherwise, if you've enjoyed this video, please let me know by hitting that thumbs up button. Well, that technically lets YouTube know, but also let me know by sharing your thoughts down in the comment section. I'd love to know what you think about the prices right now. Is now the time to buy? Are you buying in the droves? Are you buying the dip? Have you bought the dip? Do you think the dip's going to be coming in the future? Is this just the start? So let's hear what you think down below. All I ask is that you comment respectfully of mine and other people's opinions. Otherwise, have a fantastic week ahead. We'll see you on the next video. And as always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.